Hello there everybody, and welcome back to another episode of An Ecologist Plays, where we are trying to learn a little bit more about nature by playing games. Now we are back in Grounded, of course, and I have something to show you, and that is... Just because we have killed the broodmother twice in the previous episode, we needed to make a nice little thing, little decoration to warn any potential intruders that, listen, we are not to be trifled with. Now, I must also confess that after I killed the broodmother those 2 times on screen, I did proceed to kill her another 3 times because, well, I had 3 more broodmother BLTs left. And of course, the broodmother BLT stands for Bombardier, Ladybird, and Thistleneedle, because those are the 3 ingredients used to make it. And because we have killed her 5 times, we have also acquired the gold card for her. And as far as I know, there is a 10% chance of you getting a gold card when killing one of the boss creatures, so something like the broodmother, and a 1% chance for killing anything else like these infected weevils. The weird thing is that I haven't gotten a gold card for the normal old mites yet, and I've killed almost 300 of those. One would have thought that by this time I would have had one, but there is a 1% chance every time you actually kill one and loot one. So, yeah, the RNG just hasn't rolled in my direction. Now, this weird contraption over here, this is our bait station, basically. We've got some mushrooms over there, and we are catching weevils in it. The idea is that weevils come along here, they walk in, and they drop in, and then can't get out, because they come in after these little mushroom pieces over here, and then they can't get out. So, just in case we ever need a weevil, we can easily come and just kill one over here. Now we are going on a little adventure deeper into a cave-like network. And to do that, we need a salt weapon. And we have one right here. The salt mace. Really useful to use against anything that is vulnerable to salt. And there are 2 things that we are going to be fighting that are vulnerable to salt. The first thing would be the antlion over here. So just, again, looking at what it normally is like. If we are fighting with the mosquito needle, notice it does take quite a long time to actually make a dent in it. Okay, I did give a shocky there, but notice how awesome this salt mace is against the antlions. It really makes it so easy. Now, I did upgrade the salt mace as well. It is a level 4 one, but the mosquito needle was a level 5 mosquito needle. So, at level 4, it does do marvelous damage against the antlion. That is because the antlions here, at least in the game, not in reality, but in the game, are vulnerable to salt. And additionally, the salt mace does some amazing stun damage against antlions. Well, against anything, basically. Let's just have a look here. Let's fight one more. Hello there. Now, antlions are able to slow down their metabolism tremendously, because their food is very unpredictable. They don't know when they are going to get food at all. And in some cases, if there is a superabundance of food, they can actually mature quite quickly, go through their life cycle very, very quickly. But in many cases, when there is, as is normally the case, a shortage of food, or they don't get enough food to grow rapidly, they can actually slow down their metabolism a lot. To such an extent that they can take up to 2 years to actually mature. But we will come and visit them again at some point, and I'll talk a little bit more about them. But for now, where we are actually heading is to the upper yard, where we are going to be encountering a few more organisms that are vulnerable to salt. Now, down there is our first victim, one of the black ox beetles. Now, they call it a black ox beetle, but I believe this is what is called the smooth ox beetle.
The beetle is bigger than me, better armored, and has a giant horn.
Does have a giant horn, and that is a characteristic of it. But first, let us get rid of this little guy. Oh, and there he comes. We are going to be putting on our shiny salt crystal again. And he's going to come and charge us. What's the point of having a nice big horn on your head if you don't use it? Oh yes, the spinning attack. Oh, wow. Okay, stunned. Yay! Okay, miss. There's the spinny. Whack, whack, whack. And getting ready to block the charge. Another headbutt. So that headbutt would definitely be a behavior that is right on par for this species. Now, it's called the smooth, and I believe this is the smooth one. There are some lines running along here. Now, the difference between the smooth ox beetle, which I think this one is, and the Alois ox beetle is because the Alois ox beetle would have very relatively prominent grooves running along, but this does, now it does look like Alois ox beetle. Neither of the two actually do occur in Maine. There are no ox beetles that have records of, at least in Maine. Of course, it can occur there, it's just perhaps not recorded. But either way, the ox beetles here characterized by these horns on the top here. Very similar to Triceratops, the dinosaur that used to live during the Cretaceous period. And of course, also found in North America. Obviously, the function of these would be for fighting, especially between males. So that'll be for intraspecific competition. Now we do see another one. Let's just grab his attention, shall we? Come here, little one. Now the genus name of these guys would be strategists, referring to general. Come here, little one. Ha 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 ha. Probably going to going to throw a rock at us? No, you don't. Probably going to do a spinny now, or not? Charge, okay. And in return, I'm going to give you a whack, whack, whack. There we go, that was the spinny. Unfortunately blocked by a rock behind me. Not in the best position to fight this guy. Another rock, and another block of the rock. That was a headbutt. And that was a critical hit. Quite fun battling these guys. Oh, miss. So, of course, males would fight one another by doing that. Headbutting the opponents. Now, I have seen not an ox beetle, not one of the strategist genus, but in South Africa, we do have rhino beetles, which are in the same family as these guys. So, all of them are in the Coleoptera order, the beetle order. Let's see, what have we got here? Ha! Ooh, there's an interesting sound emanating from down here. And I'm pretty sure I know what is making that sound. And immediately, dark.
I wonder how the elves keep their tree houses from being eaten by termites.
Aha! Termites. Yes, how do the elves keep their tree houses from being eaten by termites? Termites, hello there! Now, these are the workers. Workers are basically blind. Well, in many species, completely blind. And you may think that they are related to ants. But in actual fact, they are much closer to cockroaches. And they most likely evolved from wood-eating cockroaches in the early Jurassic, it most likely was. So, long time ago. Whereas ants most likely evolved from wasps, because they are much closer to wasps and bees and those other creatures in the Hymenoptera order than they are to cockroaches and termites. Now, because they don't originate from the same group of insects, they are, of course, very different in how they function. And one thing that is very different is that termites have a much softer body than ants. In this case, in this game, would make them then, of course, very sensitive to salt. Which is, of course, why we are using our salt mace against them. That, and it does stun them. Oh, hello there. Not sure whether there is a soldier in here that sprayed the acid here, but it could also just be that the workers in the game do spray acid. But termite soldiers are, of course, known for the fact that they do spray acid on intruders. Oh, hello! We found another little thingamajig here, a little journal. I'm pretty sure this is from the intern. the intern lived far longer than any of the other ominent employees. Now, there is the weird totem that the intern made near the hedge with those bunch of ant heads on spikes. I'm not actually sure whether I've gone to look at that in this series yet, but there is a camp of the intern there, and then this seems to be another camp made by the intern. Now, the intern seems to have systematically been losing his mind, but in essence trying to become one with the ants and the termites, it seems. And in this case here, referring to a sticky situation about the termites, it seems, not accepting him. But there is a lovely little hole for us to make with a splat burst. Make it go boom. Some more. Oh, okay, so it is the worker that actually sprayed it. Now, in reality, workers wouldn't be spraying acid like that, but soldiers would. And termites, being typical eusocial insects, they do have different roles in the colony. So you've got these blind workers, and then you'll have the soldiers, which are actually responsible for defending the colony. Soldiers would, of course, be much larger than the workers, because their role is to, of course, defend the territory. The workers here would be the ones that are supplying food to the colony. And they use their very nice strong jaws to actually chew wood, masticate it, or chew it into finer pieces, which they then ingest. And once they have ingested it, let's just shoot an arrow to do a bit of range damage before they get too close. And then once they have ingested it, they are not able to digest it, but they do have a whole bunch of small little, I think it's protists, living, which are basically single-celled organisms, living in their guts that are then able to break down the wood. Now, the reason that it's difficult for them to actually break it down is not the cellulose, which is the main structural component of wood, but it's actually the lignin. Lignin is what gives wood its strength and makes it very difficult to actually break down. So wood, as you see it, as it is out here, this is actually very hard to break down because it is a very strong mixture of cellulose, which is the main component thereof, and a whole bunch of strings of a long, very complex molecule known as lignin, mass, that then makes it very difficult to digest. The little microorganisms in the gut of the termites, however, are able to break down the lignin. And that frees up the cellulose to then be eaten by, or digested by the termites. Like this little guy over here. All dead. And this is where we were earlier. Okay, so this is the intern camp again. Oh, but termites are really, really amazing. In this game, they are surprisingly difficult to fight, and I think I may need to go get my ladybird armor just for extra protection, because there is something that I do want to do. Alright, now we have made it to the wood pile here, and of course, it being wood, you're going to find termites in there, and that is what we are after. Now, in order to fight them, as we go in, I have obviously got coup de grace on, and meat shield as well, just to give me that extra bit of health, because apparently I need it. Spicy safety. Thanks to DiceUX for suggesting that I get spicy safety. I'm sorry if I butchered your username there. But spicy safety here you can get by eating the hot chachas candies. I think I ate 4 and I got it down up to level 2, which will give you some smashing and stabbing resistance, which is useful when fighting spiders like the brood mother as well. I'm going to check, hopefully this also helps. I'm also putting on fresh defense because apparently the spitting damage that they do also counts as burning damage. So hopefully that will also give me some resistance there. And there goes a scarab. Ah, not going to be able to get that one. Oh, hello! There's the soldier, immediately identifiable with the fact that it has a massive pincers. Oh, hello there. Yo, you guys are really in my face here. Stun you. That is quite stunning. There's the dust attack, normal attack, launch attack, all attacks all in one. Hello there, everybody, and welcome to An Ecologist Kills Bugs. I say bugs, but these of course are not bugs. As I've mentioned, they are closely related to cockroaches. And we got termite chompers, which we would be able to use to make the termite axe, which is going to be the tier 3 axe. And I've just realized there is something that I want to use that I made when I went down to go get my ladybug armor. And that is the helmet that you can make when fighting or killing the brood mother, the mask of the mother demon. And this one here will give your weapons a poison coating, giving it a chance to do a bit of poison damage to whatever you are fighting as well, which is, you know, useful. Another little termite worker, and another one bites the dust. So now, of course, as I was mentioning earlier, the termites will break down wood by chewing it firstly, and then letting it pass into their guts, where there are microorganisms that will break the lignin down, so that they can then break down the cellulose. But the termites are not actually born with that, with those microorganisms. And of course, we've got to fight mosquitoes over here as well. As I was saying, the termites are not born with those microorganisms in their gut. Instead, they have to get it from other individuals in the colony. And they don't get it in the way that you would expect them to get it. They get it by, how shall we put this? Butt nibbling. They get it from the backside of their from other members in their colony. Now we're on top of the tarp. Again, just fighting our old friends, the wolfies, without Mithridatism on. Which may have been a slight mistake. But that's alright. We got nipped there by them. A little bit. We'll just wait for the venom to run its course, and then we are going to carry on as usual. Now, termites, like these ones living in these tunnels, and we have just gone into, under the tarp there, the main entrance to the colony, they are what we call eusocial creatures. Meaning that they, like ants, have got different castes that they form. In other words, you've got your workers, you've got your soldiers, you've got your queen, you've got your king in this case as well, and each one does their role.
The termites' king command was an unnumbered legion of soldiers, starved for battle, plunder, and to raise the structures of their enemies.
Interesting, yes. So termite workers here, of course, as I've mentioned earlier, they are in charge of getting food for the colony, and 0.5 kilogram of food can last a colony up to 2 weeks or so. But I've decided that shocking dismissal isn't doing what I wanted to do, and I've decided to try something new. Let's get all the allies we possibly can. Let's use Mum Genes, which has a chance to summon spiderlings.
A bug at mandibles of King Termite ready for war.
Yes, whenever we, I think, fight something. And immediately the spiderlings are coming in, which is wonderful. But immediately the spiderlings are also mostly dead. I may have accidentally killed my own spiderlings. I'm not the best general, it seems. And here we have a chamber full of fungi. Now, many termites will actually cultivate fungi like this. Not quite like this, but they basically do cultivate fungi. And the way they do this is by having these certain fungi species that they will bring to an area. And there's a nice little scabby over here for us. Wonderful. They'll bring it to a certain area, and they will basically poop in a specific spot, and then the fungus here will grow, very much like this mold over here is actually growing. They will grow over it, forming fruiting bodies. And then the termites will eat the mushrooms, ingest some of the spores, which are basically like the seeds of the mushroom, and then when they poop it out on these columns, like this one here, and it forms these clusters of new fungi that will also then grow. So basically poop out the seeds, or the spores in this case. It has a fertile area or a nutrient-rich thing to grow on, these pillars, and then they just produce more food for the termites to eat. So the termites grow them in these special poop tower gardens, which is gross but amazing. Now it seems in order to get to the termite king, we do need the termite axe first, so we first need to go back to our base. And that means we will leave this for next time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. So we did a bit of delving into the termite mound over here. Next time we are going to take on the termite king. So until next time everybody, I hope you have a wonderful week. Stay safe. I will see you all soon.